realizing that I was already burned out. What
Mhm.
do we do when we're in that state? Because we've already talked about things that I think people can piece together for like how you identify whether or not you are. Like, are you, when we talked about like that clinical sort of orientation in the terminology, what practices, what approach do we take when we found ourselves there ourselves?
Well, for me, this goes back to what we were talking about with mindfulness. You know, we have methods, we have ways to determine, are we on the right path? Should we be doing this in the first place? But if we don't give ourselves a second to actually reflect on that, what are we doing? So if you're in that point, maybe it's time to take a step back and just look at it. Let's look at some smart goals here. Let's think about what we want for our future. And when it comes to some kind of basics in terms of checking in with yourself and seeing if you're burning out because you're maybe not taking great care of yourself, my community has an acronym for that, which is just SHADES: sleep, hydration, air, diet, exercise, and stillness. So like the stillness one, that's one that definitely ties a lot more in with mindfulness, but it's super pertinent to mental health as well. I have a lot of people who
Okay.
ask about like how they can get better sleep at night or how they can have better days, and they don't leave their devices until they put their heads on the pillow.
Yeah.
They go from streaming and work and computer and phone and TV and podcasts and ebooks and everything, intake, intake, intake. And then they just set it down and lay down and expect their minds to not do what they do
Yeah.
and process everything they've collected all day. And they're like, I don't understand. My mind is racing. What's going on? Like, well, have you tried sitting still once and just letting your brain work through all this stuff you collected today? Or are you just hoping that it'll just stop and you'll go to sleep and drift off, even though you were reading horrific news all the way up until the minute you laid down?
Yeah.
So like it's the starting over part that people get scared by, but I think that's one of the most exhilarating things, taking a moment and checking in and being like, okay, how can I make sure I'm covering all my bases in terms of my mental and physical health? And then how do I make sure that I'm actually setting smart goals here?